It's very timely that I'm here on the Senate floor at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because the House, I understand, just passed House Resolution or House Concurrent Resolution 94, and I'm going to ask the Senate to reject that resolution when it comes here tomorrow for our vote. And I'm asking Democrats and Republicans to join with me in voting no on that resolution, and I'd like to take a few minutes to explain why. I think pictures are worth 1,000 words, so let me just use 4 to save time. This is about disasters in 2011. This whole issue is about how we should budget for disasters, and it's an important debate that has been one of the many debates that Congress has had over this last year, and we're wrapping up that debate in the next 48 hours. So this is a part of that debate, and I think pictures speak louder than words. This is a picture of Joplin, Missouri, a town that was virtually wrecked by a massive and monster tornado and tornadoes. This is a picture of the Mississippi River flooding in Cairo, Illinois. The Mississippi River this year was at one of its highest levels in some places in over a century, and we received our own share of that flooding in Louisiana, which sits at the base of this great Mississippi River basin. So our people, as well as people along the entire Mississippi River Valley, experienced unprecedented flooding. The lonely couple and distraught couple sitting, looking like in the middle of an ocean is actually Nags Head, North Carolina. This is what happened to their beach home as water virtually surrounded them and destroyed that community again this year with Hurricane Irene. And down here on the far right is a picture of the fires that raged and devastated through Texas, that experienced one of the worst droughts in the recorded history of Texas. And I could show, Mr. President, the sad thing about this debate is I could show picture after picture after picture of communities in our country devastated by tornadoes, fires, hurricanes, disasters that strike without warning, whose impacts are virtually impossible to measure until months afterwards because of the extraordinary damage. So the question, Mr. President, is what are we going to do about it, and what is the right way to move forward? Let me show you what the wrong way is before I explain the right way. This is the wrong way to respond, and this has been suggested by some of my Republican colleagues. They suggest that when the water rises on your home, or when the tornado rips you out of your bed and the roof falls on you and your family, or when the river water rises and you look out of your second floor window over your 100 or 200 acre farm and you can't see anything and your cows are swimming and your horses are swimming as well, that what you should do is climb on your roof, call Washington, call the hotline, and identify the offset in the federal budget to provide the cost of your rescue. I mean, it is laughable. It's supposed to be funny. It is a funny cartoon, but when you think about it, it's really not funny to tell the American people that in order to be rescued, you need to call the budget office of the federal government, identify an offset, and then we will send a rescue to you and to respond to your emergency. It's not funny, and the American people aren't laughing. And so I'm going to ask my colleagues to vote no on H.R. 94 tomorrow, because that is exactly what H.R. 94 does. And it is so hypocritical that some on the other side are requiring this for domestic expenses when they don't require the same thing for foreign expenses or international expenses. And I'd like to put up this next chart. I mean, to pour salt on the wound here, and I quite don't understand this politics. I don't understand the math. I don't understand the budgetary consequences, and I don't understand the politics. Wrong on all three counts, because this is what those that voted for H.R. 95 have to go home and explain to their constituents. They're going to have to go home and say, when I was in Congress, I allocated $823 billion for the war in Iraq and required no pay for. And then I went back to Congress and spent $557 billion in Afghanistan and didn't say a word about that. And then I went back and added a Medicare drug benefit for $180 billion, and we didn't pay for that. And then I went back and sent checks to everyone when George Bush was the president. Those checks cost $124 billion, and we didn't require any offset or budget implication for that. But when Americans who had their homes destroyed, their farms flooded, their businesses ruined by disasters, I can't send a dime unless we take it out of health, transportation, or education. So they said no to this little $8.1 billion after spending a grand total of $1.68 trillion on all of these items. So I don't understand the math. I don't understand their ramifications to the budget. And I most certainly don't understand this politics. And I don't agree with it, because I think the American people should come first. Their needs for disasters should come first. And we cannot possibly, because of the erratic nature of disasters themselves, which we might think we're powerful here in the Senate, but we're not more powerful than God, and we're not more powerful than nature. This is what disaster looks like. I wish I had something to show what it feels like to lose everything. And then when you have lost everything, trying to provide confidence to your own family, to your own children, and to your neighbors, to then listen to the debate in Congress that says we write a blank check to Iraq, a blank check to Afghanistan, a blank check here, and yet when it comes to funding for disasters, we have to have this argument. So I'm going to ask my colleagues to vote no on H.R. 94 tomorrow. In voting no, we will reject the find the offset now requirement. We will honor the agreement made between Republican and Democratic leaders back in August to include this in the Budget Control Act. We will send a powerful signal to our constituents that they come first and that disaster victims should really come first in the budget, not last.